Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Glad you could join me today. Today we have another Dodge Charger with the 5.7 liter Hemi. This thing has the money light on, and customer states that he had a little code reader that he plugged into it, and it said it had misfires, but he doesn't know which one and doesn't know what's going on. Wants us to check it out. So come along with me. We'll see if we can get this thing figured out. Well, we are on this thing. We have 180,302 miles on the odometer. We've got it hooked up to the scan tool. Let's go ahead and get this thing scanned, figure out what's going on here. Okay, trouble codes. Multiple cylinder misfire, cylinder 1 and cylinder 5. It's all in stored. Let's see here. When was this last one? Well, that would probably tell me that more than likely hang on, what? That says 180,000. That says it happened at 115,000. Okay, let's just, and it says it's had ignition cycles of 2 since this, or starts since the set counter is 1. That's weird. Okay, what about this one? Cylinder 5. Okay. Alright, well, incorrect oil type. That's weird. Okay, multiple cylinder misfire. Alright, let's come back in here to misfire data. Let's start this motor, and let's just see what we get. I hope you guys can read that. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, okay, I'll try to get you guys a good view of that. That's gonna be rough with as bright as it is. Okay, starting the engine. Oh, cylinder 1 has a pretty steady misfire. Cylinder 5, not so much. Yeah, it definitely has a misfire. It's kind of let off a little bit. It's mostly on cold start. Okay, let's do, yep, now it's misfiring again, kind of off and on. Oh, okay, yep, all right, saying it's not misfiring, but let's go ahead, take this thing on a test drive and see, because the customer said that if it's something easy, he's got a buddy of his that's a mechanic. He's not a car mechanic, he's a mechanic on diesel engines. So he said get it figured out and he will see if he can fix it for him. So let's get this thing on a test drive. It doesn't drive too bad as of now. I don't feel a constant misfire here. I think it's just on a cold start. So, yeah, cylinder 1 is still misfiring slightly. Okay, what we need to do, we need to get back to the shop before this thing gets just hotter than the blazes. And let's pull the spark plugs, and especially the spark plug on cylinder 1. Let's check this out. These Hemis do have a problem with the camshaft on some of these will wear the lobe down to nothing, but I don't know. With the way it's misfiring now, I mean, like now it's not misfiring. But the way it's acting, I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to be looking at either a fuel injector, spark plug, or a coil pack. Probably going to be leaning towards a spark plug. Let's just get this thing in. Let's get the spark plug removed. Let's just take a look. Open, please. Now I said that I don't think it's a cam. I don't know. I'm not so confident anymore because there's a pretty solid tick coming from the top here. Now, that could be because of the spark plug. It may be creating a ticking ignition sound, but I'm a little concerned about our camshaft on this thing. So let's go ahead and pop this thing off of here. Let's see what we've got. Hey! We're going to pull the spark plugs with the rattle that I heard. That is usually indicative of a camshaft that's worn pretty heavily. So my hopes of it being something easy with a spark plug or something like that, they're steadily going down the tubes. So I'm afraid we're going to find that it's going to be low on compression and that we're going to be looking at doing a camshaft at the very least on this thing. It is a very common issue for these Hemis to have a camshaft fault or problem with the camshaft, which has a misfire and a rattle, kind of like this thing does. So yeah, my hopes of changing the spark plug and that's all it takes is not very high right now, but we want to do our due diligence and just make sure. So let's not assume. As always, that's an 11, not a 10. All right, so well, what? That's a 3/8. What? What is going on here? It's not a 3/8. It's a 10. What in the world? I'm slipping. I thought I was wrong, and then I was wrong because I was right to begin with. All right, let's pull these coil packs. Let's just do our customary checks. Pull the spark plug, see what we're looking like. And I think what I'd like to do is okay, just FYI, cylinder 1 is here, cylinder 2 is over here on the passenger side, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're having a misfire on 1 and 5, so we'll need to come here. But what I'm wanting to do is we're going to switch these coil packs and the spark plugs as well, just to, you know, see if anything changes. Like I said, my fear is that we've got a cam problem, but let's just check everything here. Okay, I might need, let's get a little shorter extension. Ah, come on, tight fit. See, cylinder 1 was the worst, so let's pull these first. And it has 2 spark plugs per cylinder. Let's see what we got. Fingers crossed. Yeah, those spark plugs definitely don't look too bad. Okay, let's just go ahead and pull these out anyway. Let's switch them. They are good iridiums. Let's go ahead and switch these out. I'm becoming more and more certain that we've got a cam issue here. Let's not assume, because you know what assuming does? Makes a butt out of you and me both. Come on. Get an even shorter extension. But first you don't succeed, try again. I mean, that one doesn't look too bad at all. Yeah, these spark plugs don't seem to be that bad. But go ahead and I'm just gonna do number 1 here. We know what these look like. Number 5 was slightly misfiring. Number 3 was not. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide number 5 back in there. I don't think we're going to check that one out as of now. Let's go ahead and put that one back in. Let's switch the coil pack and the spark plugs with cylinder number 3, which is right beside cylinder number 1 here. And if the misfire moves, then it's a happy day. If not, then it's not a happy day. Then we'll need to check compression. There is another way of checking it. If you've got a vacuum gauge, put a vacuum gauge on the intake here, and that vacuum gauge should not fluctuate. But if it sits there, does that there, then you've got a valve train issue. So I don't have a vacuum gauge, so I'm not going to be able to check that, but we're going to go ahead and switch these out and see what we have. Put that there so I can lose them. All right. Yep, those look about the same. You know, while we've got these out, why don't we just... Let's go ahead and move these over. And we're gonna have to put one spark plug in to do a compression check on this thing. I know it's warm, but I think we should still be able to and get an idea of what's going on. Click. All right, now let's place one of these that were in number 3 into number 1 here, because again we're switching this so that we can reel these out. We're also going to switch the coil pack. My confidence in finding something here is not, except for a compression issue, is not very high. So let's check compression. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna have some compression, but how much, I'm not sure. So let's see. Put this in number 1. Let's check number 1 first. This is my Mac Tools compression gauge that I've had for probably close to 20 years. Let's see if I can put that where you guys can see it. We're gonna move that so that it doesn't float into the abyss. So we're gonna keep this thing from starting by unhooking all the coil packs. We will have codes out of the wazoo, but we can clear those, no problem. All right, now let's see what our compression does. Can you guys see that? Yep. All right. Well, we have good compression, 210 pounds, but that may be a little plenty, because if the valve is not open, we could be building too much compression. Let's just see what it compares to on this one here. And the reason it cranks so long is because this thing has the start stop push button, and I can't shut it off when it starts cranking. So let's see what it does. Compression's good. Let's go ahead and move these spark plugs, and let's just hope for the best here. He might be, I don't know. Ah, come on. Wrong way. Let's go ahead and get this one started. Okay, so let's see, this one was in there. Let's go put this one in here. Click all these back on while we're here anyway. Let's put this one on. Tight enough. Okay, now let's get that. Let's come over here to these over here. Get these on. All right, now let's get this all moved off of here so we don't send tools into next week. Let's go ahead and see if this thing will start. Starts, and the misfire is still there on cylinder number 1. He either has an injector or a camshaft lobe that's wore down, and I am suspecting with that rattle, that ticking sound up here, definitely has the camshaft issue. Yeah, he's definitely got a pretty good little rattle up here. Well, all right, as we can tell, I don't think that I really don't think that that compression check was an accurate check. He's definitely got a rattle right here. Okay, well, let's go ahead and pull that valve cover off of there, and let's just see if we've got what we've got going on. I think that's going to be our next and easiest thing to do. So go ahead and do that. Well, we've got this valve cover off, and I went ahead and cheated a little bit. Went ahead and cranked it over, and unfortunately we do have a problem with the camshaft, and I will show you why. You watch this exhaust lobe here and you'll see. Now I'm hoping that you guys can see the other one clearly, but watch the movement. This is the exhaust. Watch the movement between these two. I'm gonna jump the starter. It's gonna start cranking. Contact! Okay, let's try that again. Contact! Watch, see that? This thing's just barely moving. That thing's jumping like crazy. So we have a worn exhaust lobe on the camshaft on cylinder number 1. Probably have one on cylinder number 3 as well. Okay, well, clean up our mess here. Put this thing back together. Customer said if it is the camshaft, him and his buddy can change the camshaft. So, yeah, that's what they're gonna have to do, because I am a little too busy to do that anytime soon. And it's gonna save him a lot of money if he can do it himself, because his buddy knows what he's doing. I have no doubt. So they'll get it fixed. But there we go, another Hemi camshaft bites the dust. It's, well, probably because of the roller lifters that went bad and then caused a cam lobe to flatten. So yeah, they're gonna have to put new lifters in the camshaft, and hopefully there's not anything that went through the motor. But the heads are gonna have to come off. In order to get the lifters out of the block, you have to remove the heads. The front end here has to come off, so you've got access to get your camshaft out the front. Yeah, a little labor intensive, but unless he lets me know differently. When he brought this thing in, he said if it's a camshaft, him and his friend can change that. So unless he lets me know different, I will update you guys then if he does let me know different and I end up with the job. But more than likely I'm not going to end up with the job, but we do know what's wrong with it. We know it's got a cylinder 1 exhaust cam lobe that's wore down, flattened. As of now, it's still working. Don't think I'd recommend running this thing, because the longer you run it, the more junk that gets wore off that camshaft goes through the motor, has the possibility of ruining the motor. So if you've got the chance right now to stop using it, that's a good idea. Of course, it's always up to the customer too. So either way, I'm going to recommend he doesn't use this thing anymore until he gets that fixed. But I'm going to go ahead and put that valve cover back on. We're going to put everything back together, park it outside, let him know what's going on. He can decide what he wants to do. But as of now, I'm going to end this video right here, and I'm going to kindly ask you guys to go ahead, hit that like button, share it, subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. Helps me out a bunch, doesn't cost you guys a thing. And until the next time, I will see you all later.